buat apa tidur lagi tu? Bangun, bangun, bangun. Dah pagi dah ni. Bangun, bangun, bangun deh. Bangun deh. Ni, kita nak belajar ni. Bangun deh. Okay, today we are going to learn chapter 4 and chapter 5, which is chapter 4, theory external and internal virtues, and chapter 5, which is explanation and truth. So moving on to the learning objective. So, at the end of this chapter, students should be able to state the purposes of virtue, state the characteristic of virtue, state the definition of internal virtue, state the internal features, state the definition of external virtue, describe the definition of explanation, state two ways of explanation, state and understand four types of explanation, understand truth and three categories of truth, describe and understand the facts, describe and understand the opinion, and lastly, the differences between fact and opinion. Here is your presenters for today. We got Nur Khairisa, Nur Akila, Nurul Akira, Akila Najiha, and Nur Amanina. Now, I'm going to pass the presentation to our first presenter.
Well, thank you, Akila. So now let's proceed to our new topic, which is Chapter 4, Internal and External Virtue. I believe that you guys are starting to wondering what this topic is about, because actually this topic is about a theory. How you want to identify this theory is a good theory or a bad theory. But in addition to that, you guys are going to learn that this theory, how to compute a theory by using two factors, which is internal and external virtue. So what is internal? What is external? So let's learn and move to the next presenter, Nina.
Okay, thank you Kai, our first presenter for today. So next is my turn. I'm gonna continue this presentation, but before that, let me introduce myself first. So assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nur Amanina binti Hishamuddin, and I will be the second presenter for today. Alright. So, I think you guys already have the idea what is actually theory, right? So, I'm gonna explain more deeper and more details about the virtue of theory, which is internal virtue. Okay, for your information, before the theory to be validated or to be accepted, it needs to undergo two things first, which are internal and also external virtue. So, what is internal virtue? Okay, so for internal virtue, the theory just can be evaluated without using or doing any observation, meaning that you just can evaluate the theory by reading method through article, journal, research paper, or maybe conceptual theory. Okay, so there are 5 main features for this internal virtue, which are: the first one is entrenchment, the second one is the explanatory cooperation, the third one is generality, the fourth one is testability, and last but not least is simplicity. So I'm going to explain details about all those 5 features. Okay, the first features of internal virtue is that entrenchment here meaning that the theory have the principle of conservatism, meaning that it always changing. Like when we give opinion to others, my opinion and your opinion is not gonna be same. So same goes to theory. It could be different from other theory. That is why it states that it's ranging from not disagree with other theories to being compatible and cooperation with the background knowledge of other. Meaning that it could be some of other theory do not agree with that particular theory. Yeah. Okay, the second one is explanatory cooperation. From the word itself, meaning that the theory need to have details and a complete explanation, but it needs to cooperate with other theory as well, meaning that it need to work with other theory to support that particular theory together with the explanation. Okay, the third one is generality. Generality meaning that the theory must be generalized. It do not stick at only one topic, or it do not only stick at one particular theory. It can be used for previous theory as well. Okay, that is why make the theory become more reliable, and because it can be used for numerous time, and instead it also will give us more understanding, and because it is general and easy to understand. Alright, the fourth one is testability. Testability is something related to external virtue, because testability here meaning that we need to do some prediction for what can happen after the theory is run, something like that. Okay, so in order for the theory to run, it needs the external virtue. Okay, its testability is something like hypothesis, because before we for example, before we run for some experiment, we need to have the hypothesis, right? We're gonna predict what will be happen after the experiment is run. Yeah, that is actually testability. We predict what gonna happen for that particular theory after it is done. Okay, so the prediction must be precise, but it is despite true or false. Yeah, because it do not happen yet, so we don't know is it true or is it false, but we need to make sure that what we predict, the information that we put there should be precise. Last but not least is simplicity. Simplicity is simple. Okay, meaning that internal virtue should be simple. It cannot be that complicated, and it is depend on linguistic and theoretical context, which is back to the reading and research about that particular theory. Okay, I think that is all from me. So we're gonna move for our next presenter about external virtue. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Now we are going to the next subtopic, which is external virtue. What is the purpose of external virtue? The purpose of external virtue is able to explain some observed phenomena. The example of observed phenomena are flood, rain, rainbow, and other phenomena. So, in external virtue, we require experimentation, observation, and confirmation to look new evidence predicted by the theory. So, to make sure all of you understand about this subtopic, let's watch this explanation.
What causes tides? Tides are the periodic rise and fall of sea level at a particular place. When the sea level rises to its greatest height, it is known as a high tide, and when the sea level drops to its lowest height, it is known as a low tide. Tides are primarily caused due to the gravitational force of the moon. But how? part of the Earth facing the Moon experiences a stronger gravitational pull towards the Moon as compared to the Earth's center. So, the part facing the Moon is pulled away from the center, creating a bulge and thus increasing the sea level and causing a high tide. Now, the Earth's center experiences a stronger gravitational force towards the Moon than the part facing away from the Moon. Hence, this part is pulled away from the center, resulting in high tide on the opposite side as well. In addition to this, the places in between the two high tides, where the sea level drops, experience low tides.
Talk about the Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. My cousin told me that the Moon hasn't got its own light. Is it true, miss? That's true, Maiko. So why does it shine? Because it reflects the light coming from the sun. Although it seems that it keeps changing permanently, we always see the same side of it. The Moon has two different movements. The first movement is around itself. And the second one? It's around the Earth. Isn't it astonishing? It takes almost 28 days to orbit the Earth and the same time to rotate about its axis. That's why we always see its same face.
So, why do we always see different shapes? Some nights it's full, others we can see only half of it.
Each one of those shapes is called phases of the Moon. As days go by, the light from the sun reflecting on the Moon is different. That's why we see different lit up parts. So we can see the full moon, the new moon, or the waxing crescent and the waning crescent. They are all different thanks to the sun.
We always see the same side of the moon, not only because it moves around the Earth, but also because it spins around itself.
So, from that video, we can see a good explanation is a scientific logic, specific or more detailed what is going on the phenomena. But in bad explanation is more to not logic and is more to fiction story, which we call it as cerita dongeng, to tell someone about what is going on the phenomena. So that's all. Thank you. Now we are going to the next presenter.
So, did you guys understand the difference between internal and external virtue? So, let me summarize it up for you guys. So, internal virtue is actually a theory. The whole topic is about theory, but in order for you guys to know that theory is between internal or external virtue, is actually by this difference, di mana korang tahu pun sebenarnya internal virtue ni kita ada teori. Kita nak tentukan teori tu berdasarkan apa. Kita tak perlukan eksperimen, tapi kita kena buat research saja. Buat research from artikel ke, dari jurnal ke. Itu adalah internal virtue. Tapi kalau external virtue ni dia berlawanan daripada internal tadi. Kalau internal dia kena buat research, dia research from artikel ke, from journal ke. Tapi untuk external ni
dia tak perlukan research from artikel original, tapi dia perlukan confirmation tu dengan cara buat eksperimen. Itu beza internal and external virtue. Okay, so internal virtue tadi untuk kita kenal pasti ataupun pecahan dia ada 5 tadi yang Nina explainkan tu. Tapi untuk external tadi tu ada 2 sahaja. So itu je perbezaan dia. Korang jangan fikir topik ni susah, okay? Do not think that this topic is very difficult, okay? So before we proceed our new chapter, which is chapter 5, let us take a break and enjoy the video that we prepared for you guys.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong, and what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last
Don't
time.
let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
You are not being emotional after watching the video, right? Because I think there are many funny things in the video, and some of us might have been dying of embarrassment. But yeah, without wasting our time, we will move on to next chapter, chapter 5, explanation and truth. In this chapter, we will discuss about explanation and truth. Okay, first, we will look at explanations. So in explanation, we will discuss about what is explanation, ways of explanations, and also types of explanation. Okay, first, what is an explanation? Explanation is a set of statements that is usually constructed to describe a set of facts which clarifies the cause and context and also consequences of other facts. So which means that if you be given a fact, how to explain it by describing the context of it, the cause, whatever to describe it is an explanation. Okay, there are two ways of explanations, which are arguments and justifications. What is arguments? Arguments is an attempt to show that something will be or should be the case. It is also an exchange of diverging in opposite view. An argument is aimed to contribute knowledge. To make it simple, arguments is like 5W1H. You know 5W1H, right? What, who, when, why, where, and how. Okay, so I give you an example such as moon eclipse phenomena. So for arguments, you will not focus in one way view. Like example, what is moon eclipse? For arguments, you will see it in many different way of view. Like instead of you focus on what is moon eclipse, you will also have an argument on how does moon eclipse happens, when does moon eclipse happens, and where we can see moon eclipse, something like that. Okay, next, justifications is the reason why someone properly holds a belief, the explanation as to why the belief is true one. And justification is the action of showing something to be right or reasonable. I give you an example. There are two types of people. The first one is the one who believes that the earth is flat. Meanwhile, the other type is the one who believes that the earth is spherical in shape. So these both type of people, they're going to justify their reasons why they believe the facts, why they believe the statement. So people who believe that the earth is flat, they will say their reason why they believe that it is flat. But the thing is, the earth is not flat. It's not flat at all. Okay? The earth is not flat. Okay, that is justification. You justify the reason why you believe something. We move on to the next is type of explanations. There are 4 types of explanations that will be discussed today, which are deductive nomological explanation, functional explanation, psychological explanation, and also historical explanation. Okay, we will look at deductive nomological explanation first. So it is known as the DN model or covering law model or Hampel's model. The DN stands for deductive nomological, while Hampel's model, the names of Hampel's model is come from the names of a German philosopher who established this theory of deductive nomological explanation. So his name is Carl Gustav Hampel. Next, nomological means pertain law. Since nomo in the nomological is come from the Greek words nomos, which mean law. Thus, pertain law means depend on the law, refer to the law. So this whole sentence means that nomological explanation, deductive nomological explanation is depend on scientific and natural law. Next, deductive is said to describe the strict logical connection between premises of explanatory argument. As I said just now, the explanation in this deductive nomological, it is strict logical. It must be related to the scientific and natural law. It must be logic. I will show you an example of deductive nomological explanation. As you can see in the picture, there is a glass on the table. Okay, and then suddenly a boy named Hulk
come and he hit the table. Then the glass fell down. When someone asks us why the glass fell down, we will explain to the person, right? So the normal explanation that we use in daily life is like when someone asks why the glass fell down, we will say the glass fell down because Hulk hit the table. But difference with deductive nomological explanations, the explanation will be like when someone asks why the glass fell down, the explanation will be like when Hulk hit the table, the force is sufficient enough to make the glass fall down. The word force is related to the scientific law, the nature law. Then it is a logic. The reasons, the explanation is logic. That's the difference between explanation in the normal explanation and the deductive nomological explanations. So why deductive nomological explanation is important? I will give you another situation. As you can see, there are two situations, situation A and situation B. Situation A is just like the previous situation, Hulk hit the table and the glass fell down. Meanwhile, the situation B is different because another different boy come and he hit the table. His name is Peter Parker. But the thing is, the glass is still there. It doesn't fall down. It sits still. So how can we explain this kind of thing? If we use the explanation that we normally use in our daily life for situation A, why the glass fell down because Hulk hit the table. And in situation B, it doesn't make sense because Peter Parker also hit the table. But the thing is, the glass doesn't fall down. That's why deductive nomological explanation is important. So in deductive nomological explanation, we can say that in situation A, the glass fell down because the force that Hulk used to hit the table is sufficient enough to make the glass fall down. Meanwhile, in situation B, the force that Peter Parker used to hit the table is not sufficient enough to make the glass fall down. And then that's the importance of deductive nomological law. You can see the difference, right? Okay, we move on to the next type of explanation, functional explanations. This explanation is offered in natural and social science, and researchers will focus on function of a structured system. As an example, a biologist will explain the function of kidney. He or she going to explain the function of kidney, the explanation of the function. As an example, what is the function of kidney? The biologist will explain the kidney main role is to maintain the homeostasis. Okay, you also can use to explain the function of heart, the root of plant, everything, okay, that have function. The third type of explanation is psychological explanation. Psychological explanation is an explanation on the study of normal function within living creatures. It is used to understand of the intelligence behavior of living creatures. So example of psychological explanations are psychophysics, psychological psychology, and information processing psychology. Why these are the example of psychology? Because psychology is so wide. It is wide. So this subfield have their own theories, have their own explanations. That's why it makes the subfield is an explanation for psychology. Okay? Okay, the last type of explanation that will be discussed today is historical explanation. History, it related to history.
Historical explanation is an explanation of the past behavior of human being in terms of motive, intention, or purpose, which means that an explanation why did people in the past do something, why did they decide something, yeah, something like that. So an example is evolution of technology. So I will focus on transportation technology. Okay, and as you can see in the picture, the first picture, in the 7th century, people use animal and carriage to travel through place to bring things, and for water transportation, we still use wooden sailboats. But throughout the year, throughout the era, everything changed. We start to invent technology such as steam engine, and the explanation what is the motive or the inventions, why they want to travel through place with a shorter amount of time. They want to carry heavier things. That is their motive of doing something, of invention something in the past. And for the last picture, as you can see, the space rocket. For historical explanation of space rocket, what is the explanations? Because we want to study what is outside the earth. We want to look at the space. We want to know, we are curious. We want to know if there are any living creatures outside the earth. What is another phenomena that we never seen? Something like that. That is our motive. To invent the space rocket. Okay, that is historical explanations. I hope it is clear enough for you to understand these 4 types of explanations. And we will move on to next subtopics. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Atira. Now I'm going to explain to you guys about the next subtopic, which is truth.
Basically, truth is the state or quality of being true, which is represent the reality or something similar with it, such as belief, proposition, and declarative sentences. So in order to claim that one statement is truth, it needs to be proven by fact in terms of scientific or spiritual, and the concept of truth itself have been discussed in various contexts such as art, philosophy, theology, and science. And now I'm going to explain more about the concept of truth in science. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the categories of truth. So basically there are 3 categories of truth, which are factual, undisputed, and exact value. So factual is something that can be proven by data collection or evidence. So we need to run an experiment in order to collect data. So for example, in primary school, everyone need to run the photosynthesis process experiment, right? So after we collect the data, we can conclude that plants need sunlight for that particular process. Okay, the second one is undisputed. So undisputed is something that you can't deny, something that everyone knows, something that no one can say that that's wrong. For example, sunlight is the main source of living things. Or example yang lagi mudah is human need food and water in order to survive. And sebenarnya undisputed ni dia berkait rapat dengan factual sebenarnya. Okay, third is exact value. So exact value ni melibatkan equation involvement or calculation. Contohnya 1 plus 1 is 2. I plus you is next. sorry, I'm just kidding. Don't take it seriously. Okay, moving on to the next slide, which is fact. So Whenever we talk about truth, dia mesti kita teringat tentang fact. So fact ni apa sebenarnya? Fact is a statement that can be explained with some evidence and it can be verified by repeatable observation or numerical explanation. Apa-apa fact lah sebenarnya. Contohnya, dalam badan kita ada blood. Dalam blood ada consist of red blood cell, white blood cell, platelet and everything. And apa-apa fakta je. And dalam sel kita ada organel-organel. So, tapi the vice versa of fact is opinion. So I'm going to explain about opinion for the next slide.
Heard many of life's curiosities, but did you know that cashews grow on apples? In this case, the apple is simply an accessory fruit with the cashew growing on top. Or how about the fact that mushrooms are more closely related to animals than plants? The most common ancestor between humans and mushrooms is more recent than that of mushrooms and plants. Trees, they actually grow out of the air, not the ground. Though they receive some minerals from the soil, the carbon dioxide from air goes into the tree and with the help of the sun removes the oxygen. This carbon is left with water to create the substance of the tree. And did you know that there's enough water in Lake Superior to cover all of North and South America with 1 foot of water? Or that there are more stars in the visible universe than all the grains of sand on all the beaches of Earth? And yet the number of synapses in your brain's cerebral cortex alone, about 125 trillion, is the amount of stars that would fill 1,500 Milky Way galaxies. But an atom is around 99.99% empty space, making everything in the universe mostly nothing, including your body, which, by the way, is constantly replacing its cells. So much so that every 10 years, your entire body has replaced itself. Every atom in your body is different now, meaning you have no more in common with your previous self than any other human being that's lived or will ever live. All the while, there are more bacterial cells in your body than actual somatic body cells. And if you've made it to age 18, you have, on average, 3,200 to 3,500 weekends left in your lifetime. More importantly, you only have about 57 summers left. And did you know that while dragonflies have legs, they can't walk, only land? Or that in a population of clownfish, if the female dies or is removed, the most dominant male will become a female? The Tyrannosaurus, in terms of time, is closer to today than to when the Stegosaurus roamed the Earth. To the same token, Cleopatra lived closer to the first moon landing than to the construction of the pyramids. And just for fun, when I say it, you are now breathing.
Talk about opinion. So what is opinion? Basically, opinion is a personal view of based on someone or based on individual belief or judgment. And selalunya opinion ni bergantung kepada emotion seseorang. Macam contohnya, saya rasa benda tu cantik. Saya rasa dia tak patut buat macam tu. Macam tu. Maksud dia, dia tak semestinya fakta atau tak semestinya knowledge yang betul. Dia based on that individual belief.
Okay, now I'm going to explain to you about the differences between fact and opinion. So basically, fact is something that do not change, while opinion may be differ according to different person. And it stated that fact is objective, while opinion is subjective and personal. So, fact is a piece of statement that can be proven by concrete evidence, while opinion is a view or expression based on belief and emotion. So, we are going to watch a video about this subtopic, and I hope you can understand more.
Fact and opinion. Authors often combine fact and opinion in persuasive writing, advertisements, speeches, even in some non-fiction texts. If the reader can't distinguish the facts from the opinions, they can be manipulated. So, in order to build critical and analytical thinking skills, it's important that we learn how to tell the difference between fact and opinion. Facts are truths that can be proven by measurements and figures, by research and surveys. Facts are true for everyone. Here is a fact. Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system. It is a fact because it can be proven by research. Scientists are able to measure the size of each of the planets. Opinions can't be proven because they're a matter of personal belief or judgment. They're not true for everyone. They differ from person to person. Here's an opinion. The movie was really sad. This is an opinion because it cannot be proven. You might agree with this or you might not, but it won't be true for everyone. Now it's your turn to work out what is fact and what is opinion. You'll be shown 5 sentences. Use the guide here to help you. Koalas sleep most of the day. The homework the teacher set was really hard. Sam's favourite colour is green. The fastest land animal is the cheetah. A really scary book has just been released. Pause here while you work them out. The first one is a fact. It could be proven by observing them or by talking to an expert. The second is an opinion. What is hard for one student mightn't be hard for another. The third is a fact. It's not a fact that green is the best colour, but it is a fact that it's Sam's favourite colour. It could be proven by asking Sam, "What's your favourite colour?" The fourth is a fact. It can be measured. Did you notice that this last one has fact and opinion? It is a fact that the book has just been released. This can be proven. But it's an opinion that it's really scary. That won't be true for everyone. Take a look at this picture. Use it to help you think of 3 facts and 3 opinions. Pause here while you think. Here are some facts I came up with. Dogs are mammals. Some people are scared of dogs. Some breeds of dogs work with police. Here are some opinions I came up with. Dogs should be allowed in cafes. Dogs make great pets. All dogs should be bought from the pound. All of my facts can be proven. My opinions can't be proven.
Are you guys okay with receiving this a lot of information? Well, I hope you guys are okay because let's move on to the final presentation, which is the conclusion for chapter 5. Well, actually, the conclusion for chapter 5 is actually a set of statements to describe a fact which clarifies the cause, the context and the consequences of other facts. Maksudnya kat sini, kita tahu, nama per explanation penerangan. Kita tahu, kita ada satu fakta. Kita perlukan penerangan dekat fakta tu. Penerangan tu pula disokong dengan artikel lain ataupun fakta-fakta yang lain. Itu adalah explanation. Tapi untuk truth pula, dia adalah set or quality of being truth. Maksudnya, nama pun truth, benar, kebenaran. So maksudnya kat sini, kita ada fakta. So kita dah explain dan benda tu pun benar. Tu maksudnya truth lah. So I hope you guys understand all of this chapter, 2 chapter, which is chapter 4, internal and external virtue, and chapter 5, which is truth and explanation. If you guys have any question, please tell us right away. Okay? Bye!
Thank you for watching. We hope you guys like it. If you have any question, just ask right away on the WhatsApp, okay?